I'm Ada Osakwe. I'm the founder and CEO of Agrolay Ventures. Agrolay is an innovative food company that invests in early-stage agribusinesses across Africa. We're very passionate about the entire value chain and look for companies that look for innovative ideas across the food sector, across various value chains, from farm to fork, to retail, to supermarkets, all across the board. I think financing in agriculture is very, very critical. As we know, there's a dearth in financing, credit especially, that's loans and to businesses in agriculture. But specifically, I think a lot of people miss the opportunities that are available for them to be able to tap into financing avenues for their businesses. As we look at Nigeria today, many agribusinesses are young, as young people go in and are seeing this opportunity. So there's a big need for them to look at the various options that are available. The first I mentioned was credit, and that's your typical bank loan. When this is the most popular when people think about the fact that they're starting a business and they need to access financing. And many people basically run to banks and they ask for a loan, and they're usually shocked when the banker says that, what do you have? Oh, I either want to start a farm, or I want to start a new food product and I think it's going to be the best thing that all the supermarkets are going to carry. And they say, okay, show me your financials. And you're like, oh, I don't have it all. I've only been operating for 3 months. I've just started, but I really need this money because that's what I'm going to use to expand. But the banker tells you, well, we need 3-year operating history. We need to see that you have collateral. Do you have a house we can hold on to? Do you have land we can take? And young people are shocked. They're like, but I don't have all those things. And that's even small. Then the icing on the cake is when they say, well, even if we're to give you a loan, it's very risky, and going rates are 30% interest rate you're going to be paying on your loan on an annual basis. And what's the use? You're giving all your money to the bank. What money is going into the business? So the issue of bank loans, especially in the context of Nigeria and being a young agripreneur, is typically one that is closed to many young businesses, and I encourage them to look at other alternatives. And what are these alternatives? The second aspect of financing is equity. That's basically money that is going in to a company as a shareholder. So whoever puts in equity in the company becomes a part owner of that company. Not as a loan, you're not paying them back because they're taking the risk with you early stage into your company. So at the end of the day, what do they get back in return? They get the proceeds, they get the profit, they get the bottom line. When after costs, after you've grown this business, they get that money and they get the returns. So they invest money, 100 naira or 100,000 naira in time A, and you tell them, look, after 1 year, this business is really going to start doing well. Your money is going to go into me buying seedlings. I'm going to buy some land. I'm going to clear that land. And everything, that money you're putting in is going to help us grow the business. And a year down the line, it starts bearing fruit. You're able to sell your seedlings, let's say it's plantain, to somebody, and you start making money. You pay your farm workers. You pay the office workers. You have profit. You say, let me keep some of it so that I can reinvest in the business to buy the new seedlings. But there's some money here. Let me pay myself. Let me pay that investor who gave me 100,000. And wow, maybe you made 500,000, and after paying costs, you're left with 300,000. So that investor who maybe invested 100,000 times 300,000 is what they get back. So an equity investor typically would take the risk with you early on because they believe in the business. They believe in you as an agripreneur and that this business is going to do well. But they're willing to wait patiently. So we see it as patient investments, patient capital. I particularly like equity finance because as you think about it, it's really one that allows for patient capital, as I explained. It allows for time to go by for these agri-businesses to develop and mature to a state that they need to be without the undue stress of somebody knocking on your door to ask for 30% interest rate payments every single month. So I think equity is one that I believe that most agripreneurs should try to pursue for their businesses. And how do you go about this? A very popular source of equity is your friends and family. So you've already put your money, if you have it, and then you basically go to loved ones and people who know you. So know your abilities, know your passion, know what you're going through, and who are ready to encourage and support you. So typically this is the first point of call for most. They go to family and friends and say, hey, can you support me in this business? This is what I want to do. I need 100,000, 50,000, whatever. And they put in the money. It's important for you to make it clear that it's business and ensure that they get some level of shareholding for that amount of support they've given to you. So that's some mistake some people make sometimes, that they'll just take people's money, and when it goes well, it causes fights because that uncle or auntie who maybe were just putting the money in to help you, they suddenly realize, and you just said, oh, they're helping me. When the business is doing well, they resurface and start saying, after what they did for you, and they may start causing trouble. So it's very important to have very clear-cut arrangements to say, okay, for this 100,000 naira, I'm going to give you 1% of my business. I'm going to give you 2% of my business. And remember, that 2% of what could be valued at the time of 400,000 naira, in a few years' time, it could be 2% of 1 billion naira. So that's something one needs to look at as well. And that's for another conversation, knowing how to value and what the procedures are when you're giving out equity. So that's one source of that equity financing. Another big way people go is to actually go out to strangers and say, I'm raising money for my farm, I'm raising money for my juice company, I'm raising money for my plantain chips company, and I want you to invest, I want your money. So this is a more organized one because as opposed to friends and family who know you, these people don't know you. They don't. So typically you're having to demonstrate why, in actual fact, they should put money into your business. And this is where many people need to pay attention to, because there are a lot of elements an investor who is going to put money in your business looks out for. They look out for the person who they're investing in. It's very important that they feel to an extent they trust you, or they trust your abilities to be able to deliver returns for the investment they'll put on you. That trust goes far because it means that if they give you money, that you're using the money for what you actually say you're going to use it for. So if you tell them that money is going into buying seedlings or buying feed stock for your catfish, or you're going to do some new ponds and build new ponds for the cat, and that's what it's going to do, you write your uses of the capital. 2 months down the line, they don't want to see you driving a brand new Honda Accord or Corolla. Some people do this. Suddenly they see money, and rather than focusing on what they said they were going to use it for, they start doing other things. So it obviously is not good from an investment standpoint. So they have to trust that you would actually use the money for its intended purpose. You need to demonstrate that the money would actually, that the business is viable. That usually comes in the form of putting together a business plan that have the typical elements of what's the business about, who the customer is, how you intend to make money. So are people going to pay for what you're producing or the service you're providing? So that demonstrates viability. And, let them know, why are you going to be sustainable? that in a year's time, you're not going to, or a few months' time, you shouldn't have packed up. So they want to understand what's the supply chain of your agribusiness. Have you sorted out each area? If you're doing poultry, are you sure that you can source the feed and you have enough maize or whatever? Are you sure that you have people who would buy from you? Are you sure that you have those who will help maintain the equipment, your processing equipment, and who are technically capable for this? So every element should have been thought through. And if it hasn't, feel free to tell them that, well, this aspect I do know I need help. And that same investor can help be an advisor or put you in touch with somebody, or you can put brains together and find how we can deal with those situations. I think when it comes to equity, it's very possible. Many people shy away from it, but there are opportunities there. There are people out there who potentially can invest in a business. You may be asking, how do I know these people? How do I reach out to them? A number of ways. It's important to talk about your business. I know in Nigeria, you sometimes feel that somebody either is going to steal your idea or not, but if you don't talk about it, how would anyone know? Because you never know where advice can come from. You never know where connections and networks can come from. So be bold, network, talk to people about what you're doing. It's something you're passionate about, so it should be easy to talk about. And talk about the areas that you need help. I think it's very important to be able to let people know, because if they know, they have you in mind and they can connect. You sometimes find, even through banks, some of your bankers could know people who are interested in businesses, in investing. Go for seminars, go for events, networking events and training events. These are areas that you can also speak about your business and people hear about it. In Nigeria, there's an angel network for financing, so people who look out for young businesses and they finance them. I'm not sure what the website is, but it's the Nigeria Angel Network or something if one wants to Google, and they pass it around. Sometimes it could be more formal and actually going to investment firms or consulting firms like KPMG or Ernst & Young or whatever, and telling them that you are looking to raise money for your business. Can they support you? Of course, they have big fees, but they don't say it a lot, but they have pro bono work as well. Another hidden gem, and some areas that people don't look at, is the opportunity for free money in the form of grants. There are so many organizations out there that are supporting agriculture. There are so many organizations that are supporting specific areas in agriculture as well, be it if you're a woman farmer or if you're using technology-enabled solutions for your agribusiness, and just if you're a young person in agriculture. Many of these organizations are typically development type, either multilateral or bilateral institutions, like the USAID. You have institutions like DFID, which is the UK-based development agency. You have foundations, Ford Foundation, just a number of them, who look at various aspects, and they tend to have programs and schemes, be it that they are supporting nutrition or they are supporting issues around post-harvest losses. So if you're doing vegetables, they want to see how they can support businesses that are trying to find solutions to ensure there's no post-harvest loss of the vegetables and fruits. So Google grants, agriculture, Africa, Nigeria. And the thing about grants is that it's money that is not a loan, it's not equity. So you don't have to pay back and you don't have to give up equity in your business. So I do encourage people to look at the grants aspect. Grants are also usually targeted on technical capacity. So part of the things you need to do, be it for equity or for credit, for loans, you really have to make sure you have a robust system. Keep your books, your financial books in order. ensure you're tracking everything, budgets, expenses, ensure you're tracking and paying your taxes, ensure that you have your right systems in place that is tracking maybe your inventory. You have staff that are also to an extent competent. So you want to make sure you just have systems that you are institutionalizing a business, because nobody wants to invest in or give a loan to something that is not solid and they don't feel would stand the test of time. And if I'm to leave any nugget or words of wisdom for young entrepreneurs in agriculture today, it would be to say, think big, be bold, be audacious in your vision for what you're growing. Be it a farm you started, why don't you have thousands of hectares of that farm someday? Be it a product that you're doing, maybe palm oil product. We want to see your products in the shelves of every single supermarket, not just in Nigeria, not just the rest of Africa, but the rest of the world. And in order to do that, you need finances. So being very prudent and thinking through how you're going to grow your business through financial planning and the right sort of financial injection and capital is so important.